What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. I'm Imani, and this is my YouTube channel where I share social media tips and tricks to help brands and businesses improve their online presence. In today's video, we are getting into 10 mistakes you should avoid on your social media in 2022. Let's leave all these mistakes in 2021. And we're not just talking about Instagram today. It's going to be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, Snapchat, TikTok, all of the major social media platforms. A lot of these mistakes you should be avoiding on, right? So like I said, I have a list of 10, so let's get right into it. So the first mistake you should avoid is not creating video on your social media platforms. Now, I know everybody's like, oh, you gotta do reels, you gotta do TikToks, you gotta do all this stuff. There's a reason why people are always saying create video. It can be short form video, it can be long form video, and I'm going to do a completely separate video all about different types of videos that you can create, whether you don't want to be on camera or you want to be on camera, or you want to do short form or you want to do long form. But I've even done a video before talking about the benefits of actually sharing video on your social media. At the end of the day, across the board, it brings in higher engagement, right? You can have fun with the video, you can make it informative, you can persuade, like, it's so many things you can do with video. You can share video on pretty much every platform. If you're not creating video, if it's not in your marketing strategy, you're missing out. The next thing that you should avoid doing in 2022 when it comes to your social media is not using hashtags. If you're not using hashtags because you believe that hashtags don't work, you're missing out, right? Hashtags do work. You just have to make sure you're using them the right way. And I know Instagram came out a few months ago saying basically don't use 30 hashtags. Okay, so make sure you customize your hashtag strategy to fit your brand. Whether you use 2 hashtags or 5 hashtags or 10, or if you want to do the 30, use some type of hashtag. Even if it's just a branded hashtag, make sure you're using hashtags. Now, number 3 is my favorite thing to do. And if you're not doing this, what are you doing? If you're not repurposing your content, you're making a huge mistake. Repurposing your content extends the shelf life of your content. So, for example, I always convert, well, not always, but 9 times out of 10, I pull the content from my YouTube video, make it into a reel, and make it into a blog. So that's 3 different types of content from one content idea, right? Because like I always say, people consume content differently. Some people may want to sit down and watch a long video talking about whatever, whether it's a travel vlog, whether it's an informative video about how to scale your business, right? Some people may want to sit down and do that. Some people may want to read an entire blog about it. Or because in this world of social media, everybody's like quick. Some people may just want to look at a reel or a carousel post or a thread on Twitter. I've talked about this on my channel a lot. There's so many different ways that you can repurpose your content, from turning a YouTube video into a reel, into a blog post, into a carousel post, into a webinar. All from one original piece of content. Now, the 4th mistake that you need to avoid this year is using way too many platforms, right? Social media already is overwhelming. It's a lot going on. There's always changes going on. Every day is some new update. And having multiple or having a lot of platforms that you need to stay up to date with can make things even worse, right? It can make it just so that you don't even want to post on social media. So my rule of thumb is just focus on 2 to 3 platforms that you can either monetize or that will help you reach your goal for your business or your brand. So for example, I have an Instagram, a YouTube, a TikTok, a Pinterest, and a Twitter. My content is really only focused on Instagram and YouTube, right? Don't get me wrong, I'm on TikTok, I'm posting on TikTok. I love TikTok. I'm tweeting up a storm, well, not up a storm, but I'm tweeting on Twitter. But that's the same thing with Pinterest. I'm posting on these platforms, but I'm not focused on them. Instagram and YouTube, I'm focused on them. Those are my go-tos. That doesn't mean that the other platforms I can't get some type of business from or things of that nature, but my real audience is Instagram and YouTube. You just have to find what platforms really make sense for you and what can help you grow your brand and your business. Now, number 5. Number 5 mistake is you're not showing up authentically on your social media. Especially if you're a brand, a lot of users, a lot of people are over the fakeness of brands these days, right? For instance, if you're a brand, you don't necessarily have to post about every social justice movement. If you're a brand, you might not have to post about every single holiday, right? If it doesn't align with who you are, then don't post about it, because people have no problem, especially in this day and age, they have no problem calling out these brands, right? So you don't want to be on the other end of somebody calling you out. So showing up authentically is something that, especially after 2020, you should be doing going forward. Now, this next mistake literally drives me insane. Whenever I hear people say this, or say that they want to do this, I just cringe inside. A huge mistake that people make is having the goal of going viral. I understand going viral sounds amazing. It's a beautiful thing, right? It's awesome. But if that's your goal, if that's your marketing strategy, if that's your social media strategy, you have a huge problem. There are steps that you can take to make sure that your content, performs pretty well, but waking up and saying, I'm gonna go viral is not a strategy. It doesn't work like that, right? And of course, there are some people that wake up and automatically go viral, but if you go viral, can your business handle this whole new audience? If you go viral, are you going to be able to continue and stay consistent with whatever content that did go viral? It's so much that goes into going viral that people just see the numbers and they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Going viral is not a strategy. It should not be your goal. It should not be a part of any of that. Your goal should be to maybe increase your audience by a certain amount, or maybe hit a certain amount of revenue, or to get a certain amount of link clicks or things of that nature. Then you could possibly go viral, but your goal and your strategy should not be, I want to go viral. And if there are agencies and firms and marketing companies that are accepting clients that just want to go viral and they're telling you that they can make you go viral, if they're saying that to you, red flag. Because nobody has the power to just make you go viral. It doesn't work like that. And if it does, if you got the juice like that, kudos to you. Speaking of a strategy, that's my next mistake. If you don't have a strategy, what are you doing? And this is me yelling at myself as well, because if you've watched my previous video, I did a Reels challenge where I had no strategy and I failed because I didn't have a plan, right? So you need to have, as with most things in this world, you need to have a plan, right? So you need to have a strategy when it comes to your social media. And your marketing strategy should not just be social media. There's other things that fall under marketing. Advertising, email marketing, there's so many other things, right? And it shouldn't just be social media, and it should not be to go viral. Now, the next thing on my list, which is something that I talk about all the time, I actually just did a whole video on how to do this, is not batching your content. That's a huge mistake, right? If you watched my last video, then you would know that batching your content helps you save time. It helps you show up consistently, and you don't have to think of content ideas in the moment when it's time to post, right? You already done it. You've already figured out what you're gonna post, so you don't have to be stressed out about it. If you have a vault of content, right? Say you get sick, or the content that you intended to go up, it doesn't come out the right way because you have other content. that you've batched, you can go ahead and still post. Go watch that last video if you haven't already and start batching your content. That's all I gotta say. The ninth mistake, it's specific to Instagram because, you know, Instagram already told us that they don't want us to do this and people are still out here doing it. So if you're still uploading your Instagram reels with the TikTok watermark, please stop it. Instagram told us that they're not going to push out content if it has a watermark on it, aka TikTok's watermark. They told us this, right? And you know, people are still doing it. So I posted a YouTube short on how to remove the TikTok watermark. There's websites that you can use to remove the TikTok watermark. So, you know, sometimes people are like, why aren't my reels doing well? Well, maybe you have the TikTok watermark on it, and Instagram told us that they don't want to share your content unless it's to your followers because it has the watermark. I'm just a messenger. I know, like, you know, it's easy. Now, the last mistake that you possibly could be making, or the last mistake to avoid this year, is to not be scared to experiment with your content, right? People feel like they have to have this one niche and that's the only type of content that they can post. And it's like, no, experiment. I'm not saying experiment every single time you post, but maybe once every 2 weeks, once every month, once every couple months, you know? Because people's lives change, they grow, and they don't always want to post about the same things over and over again. So it's okay to experiment. And you can experiment with how many times you're posting. You can experiment what you're posting. You can experiment, like, there's so many things to do, right? You can experiment going live. You can experiment on Twitter and use Twitter Spaces, because you never know, people may like the new change that you're introducing. And another way you can find out what exactly people want to see from you is you ask them. Twitter has a poll option. Instagram has a poll option. Ask your audience what they want to see from you. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. As always, you can follow me on all social media platforms at It's Imani Murray. And